One second. I totally hit the button and then I forgot that it doesn't launch unless I open Steam. So let me fix something real quick. Carmia, there's another one for your counter. Hello. How is everyone doing? Oh, wait, here it comes. I'm lagging because of there it is. The first head pat of the stream. Do you want to get the first bonk out of the way too? That way I can lag a little bit more for just a second. Who wants to give me the first bonk of the stream? Come on, I know somebody wants to do it. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? You all look just absolutely amazing. I hope you know that. And you'd be like, Gene, you can't see me right now. I can. I can stare at you through this monitor right now. Put that away. Put a shirt on. Anybody's not wearing a shirt is going to freak out now. Anyways, hello, lovelies. For those new here, my name's LuckyJene, gambler, a writer, a soon-to-be villain. We're getting closer and closer to the day that I can finally be a villain. My hair's curled just for you. Also, was that... Did you just gift subs? Did we get gifted subs at the start of the stream? Thank you so much for the gifted subs, Princess. I really do appreciate it. And we're at a hype train. Are you kidding me? Okay, thank you.
He's in the walls, Ryan.
I am in your walls. But hello. W gifted. Definitely appreciate it. So, before we get into anything, before I say hello to anybody, well, I mean, before I, talk to anybody directly, we have our stream stuff I need to do. Thank you for the bits. Thank you. So for those of you who are new here, every stream I say congratulations to the people who got first, second, and third. And then I say hello to every single person who has checked in today. Thank you for the bits, Alien. What the heck? Thank you all. So let me go through this list real quick, and then we'll get started with everything else. All right?
I knew you loved us.
Of course I do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't like y'all. Thank you for the biddies, Princess. All right, first off, thank you, Tally, for getting first, Lunar for getting third, and... Wait, where's second? Oh, second is near the start for some reason. Y'all are so bad at counting. I'm glad third is at least always in the right place. Thank you for the biddies, Lucy. Thank you. So, Catherine, congratulations on getting second, except first. Tally, thank you for getting first,
Love,
but second...
Pink heart emoji, pink heart emoji, pink heart emoji.
And thank you, Lunar Rain, for getting third. Hello, Mostdwarf, thank you for checking in. Hello, Tally, thank you for checking in. Hello, Alien and Xenix. Hello, 7Kai and Naptime. Hello, Poison and Echo Infernal. Hello, Silvervang. Hello, Dumpster Trash Fox, I love your name. Hello, Show Weirdo. Hello, Kitty Lover. Hello, Kiana. Hello, Poppy and Zesty and Loki. Hello, Divine. Hello, Cotton Candy. Hello, Ocean. Hello, Yoshihiko. Thank you for the biddies, Princess. Hello, Night Blossom BT. Hello, Eli. Hello, Onyx. Hello, Cammy and Red Faye and Lilypad. Hello, Luck. Hello, Ghost Siren. Hello, Kira. Hello, Julia. Hello, Snowborn and Gibbets. And hello, Kamikaze and Carmia. Hello, Fally and Pendragon and Alex. And hello, My Chemical Flame. Hi, if I had $50 just like my stream streak with this motherfucker would still not take me to the store to feed me. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. Vanya, I would definitely take you to the store. I, in fact, would love to go to the store with all of you. I kind of just want to make some snackies. Hello, Black Silver. Hello, Specky Star. Hello, Princess. Hello, Useless Huntress. Hello, Anna Apocalypse. Hello, Full Metal Brookie and Tequila. Hello, Solian and Elliptical Panda. And hello, Moon and Divine. It's Headpats. Hello, Vanya. Hello, Lucy. Hello, Just Random Edits and Embry and Discorded Fox. And hello. Wait, we still have a few more. Hello, Allie. Thank you for the bits, Lilypad. Hello, Allie and Lachlan. Hello, JJ. Hello, Nuggets. And Litic Serenity. Hello. Thank you for the biddies, by the way, Solian. And thank you for the biddies, Princess. Hello, Silvervang. Good to see you as always. And hello, Beanie Booze. So many of you. So many of you, so many of you. And then we hit level 5. What? Y'all, what are we doing? What, we just started stream. We can't be starting in a hype train. How am I going to get more hype? Fine. You know what? We'll play a hype train song. I need a hype train song, chat. I have nothing. I have no good hype train songs. I just have goofy, silly music. Made for autistic people. Miss you too. Miss you too. But how is everybody doing? You all are amazing and incredible, and I have loved seeing you everywhere. Can I call you LJJ? That's a lot of letters. Maybe just LJ. He don't want me confirmed. Fania, you know I want you. So do goofy. I'm doing goofy, silly music. I'll turn it up.
You deserve the hype.
Thank you, Beanie. But this really doesn't fit hype train music, does it? You know what we'll do? I have it. Aha. Wait. This is my hype song. Yes. Do. I said hi to everybody. Hello, Red Faye. Oh, I'm sorry, Xenix. You should get some rest. I'm going to be very loud.
Gene, I want to bonk you. Let me bonk you. Man.
Is this a hype enough song? Does this feel hypey enough? Good. You want a free art commission? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, congratulations. But yes, there we go. But yeah, I'm gonna go sleep. Enjoy your sleep. Everybody who's just here to say hi and wants to go get some sleep, totally fine with that. Y'all really gonna make me do this? You gonna make me start off like this? Oh, we got the VOD? Congratulations. Okay, so. A summary. We've been playing Dispatch lately. It's been a great game. But personally, thank you for the biddies. Personally, I need a little break from Dispatch. It's slow paced. It takes too much knowledge. Ain't no way you're gonna try to make me mix these two. Really? Oh, and here's the woo. Thank you so much for the redeem. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I see this. I see the finagling. We get at least 1 minute of the normal Southern, and then you really want me to do a whiny Southern. Is that what you want that badly? Y'all, the second any accent kicks in, y'all like, I gotta do every single voice redeem that I possibly can. Go to Lamb Day? No, we're gonna play something brand new. Fine, all right. Let me mix in the whiny with this one. If I can do this one, there it is. All right. And I can do the I'm such a good doggy. And then the aura. There you go. That's the best one I can do, all right? That's the best I can do. Just because I'm whining does not make me in the whiny voice, all right? You want to go? You want to fight me? We're going to play something fun, though, today. We're going to play something very, very fun. I guess I technically have to be like this for a little while. I'm assuming it's fun. But the game is free on Xbox Game Pass, so, I thought I might as well try it. We're reporting a problem? What do you mean you're reporting a problem? Why is there a problem with my game? Don't be a problem, just function for me, alright? Are we almost done with this one? Can I finally give it up? And we are done with it. Okay, there we go. Much better. Fight you in bed. No. Raccoon, throw my tiny hands. Do it. Throw your tiny hands. I want to see a raccoon fight. It's time, chat. It's time to see the tiny hands fight. We're at 38 seconds of the level 5 hype train. Crazy. So it depends. Some of the Xbox Game Pass is worth it. I pay like, $10 a month right now. And I get free games all the time, like whatever this game is. But I think parts of it have gone up to like $30, so, 50 stream. We still give you Rusty Spoon. Yeah, so exactly. Ooh, I've been meaning to play that game. I keep forgetting about it. We jumped all over southern border, started Texas. Went to CP at some point and landed in Georgia. Exactly. I mean, I can start up anywhere with this force. I mean, you want me to stop? Wait, am I getting bonked finally? Is this what happening? And we're getting, there it is. There's that gosh darn bonk. I knew it was coming eventually. No, Vanya. I do remember you telling me about it, but I forgot all about it. God, that's crazy. Y'all, thank you for the bits and the subs. I do not deserve it, but I will happily take it. You know what's funny? I've been about every other southern place, but I still ain't been to Texas. Wait, Nerd Voice Redeem? Being a streamer is so hard, chat. You don't even know. All they do is demand me to do different voices nonstop, and all I want to do is lock people in my basement. Why? Oh, my basement's gone. Somebody stole the basement. Just don't move anywhere. I'm totally not loading the basement right now. It's fine. We're not loading the basement at all. It's fine. It's fine. We're almost there. Okay, sorry. So yeah, it's not fair. Everybody just wants to make me do things, and all I want to do is this. Enjoy your basement. Oh, well, thank you, Princess. I do appreciate it. The Wi-Fi has been enabled. You can use the Wi-Fi now. If you don't have access to the Wi-Fi, you're just going to have to guess the password. I'm not a dog. Fine. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. And now, without further ado, the nerd voice that was requested. So, okay, let's see what we can do here, okay? Is it going to be simple? Oh, wait, it's only 19 minutes into stream? There's been so much stuff that's happened so far. Fine. We'll stay here on this screen for a little while. We'll hang out a little bit longer, because we need at least 30 minutes of just hanging out and vibing, okay? I have my plans. Now, I know not all of you understand my super smart plans, but here's what the thing is. Your cat is missing. I'm sorry to hear that. Good luck, Dove. I believe in you. So, the plan is, with every one of these streams, you start in just chatting, okay? Because you bring people in who want to talk, and they get excited, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy's so cool. I like this guy. This guy's so much fun." And then you trick them and you switch into a game, and they don't see it coming ever. It's the best thing ever. I swear, it's the best. It's the absolute best. Okay? So now you've learned. Nerd voice. It's just a nerd voice. His name's not Alan. Why do you want his name to be Alan so badly? Password's probably McDonald's Big Mac is the worst. You know, it might be. I'm not telling you what the password is, though. My password has 3 letters, 14 characters, a number of different symbols, an underscore, a question mark. It's super secure, okay? My password, you'll never guess it. You'll never guess it. Am I late? You're technically everybody's late the second my stream starts because nobody's there ever. Why is Alan a nerd name? I know plenty of non-nerdy Alans. What if my name was like Chuck or like Finn? Yeah, Finn is a nerdy name. 3 letters, 14 characters. Why would I name my password 1234 Gene Stinky? Okay. You'll never guess. Yeah. You hang out here after hours? What do you do here after hours? There's nothing happening here. Are y'all having like a club without me? Is that what's happening? Is there a secret no Gene? You twerk? You just twerk in my what do you mean you twerk? Don't you be twerking. Don't you be twerking in my stream when I leave. No one's inviting me to secret twerk club. That's not fair. It's not fair at all. Well, the game we're going to be playing today is called Voidtrain. I don't know what it's about. Apparently it just released, and there's been no hype about this game. So I don't know if it's any good at all, like in any way, shape, or form. But it looked kind of cool when I first saw it. So, oh no, Lilypad, find your earbuds. Voidtrain, yeah, Voidtrain. There's a train. It's a void. It looks cool, looks interesting. I vibe with it. And honestly, though, It's very overstimulating right now because it does this stupid thing all action adventure games do where it's like, hey, we're going to play this high-pitched, loud music non-stop endlessly, and none of you can hear it, but it's in my ears, and I'm going insane. Okay, I've calmed down. I think I was literally, why am I saying literally? Oh, I'm adding another punishment. If I say the word literally, I need to do something. What is punishment? I need punishment. We are the void. Your void link. You can be a void train. Oh, you could be. I need to not say literally. Gene, guess how many naps I've had today? Over one. Cut me out on pretzel. Lift the mug 5 times. Say ara ara. No, y'all like ara ara. It needs to be an actual punishment. Fine. I'll lift the 25-pound mug 5 times if I say the word literally, okay? And so since I've said it, here we go. The maid dress is not punishment. You have to pay for that. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, Voidtrain's been out for several years? Really? Wait a second. Oh, no, but did it just come did it just full release? Because it says release date November 7th, 2025. Is that released 3 days ago? Oh, it's the end of early access. Yeah, so 1.0 is finally released. Give us the password to the Wi-Fi. You found it? Bye. You have a good one. Yes. So hopefully with its 1.0, it's amazing and perfect and flawless. We will see. I'm giving it... There's no way. Really? This is what you want? What is with you and this voice? Why do you want it so much? Okay, fine. Just got a new puppy. Can we have her in the cage? Of course you can keep the puppy in the cage. The puppies are allowed in the cage. They're allowed. And we're just going to be stuck, guys. Let them speak. I refuse to speak, apparently. So we're going to play the game, okay? Okay? It's time. Gene, you started coming up on my TikTok FYP. It's about time I came up on your FYP. Why have you not been searching for me? Hello, Letha Latte. How you doing? Can we get a shout out for Letha? Letha's a fantastic streamer. They do some cool stuff. Completely different side of the world than I am, though, so they might be asleep right now. And also, so might Vanya be. Vanya, are you awake or are you asleep? Thank you for the check-in. All right, so we're going to play the game. I found friends in someone else's. Ah, nice. Congratulations. Can I have a lizard in the cage? Yeah, sure, I guess. Can I bring Zine into the cage? No, I will not go in the cage. Sorry. You know, I'm stuck out of it. Sorry. It's time. Oh, not Vanya. I said words to you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I was checking to see if you're asleep or not, but apparently you're not asleep. All right, where we have... I have a whole minute left of this. All right, so I'm going to get this game going. And we're going to start playing this game, and then we'll be good. And if the game sucks, it sucks, and I'm sorry. If the game's amazing, I knew it would be amazing this whole time, and you better, be very appreciative that I chose such an amazing game, okay? Asleep. Hey, don't make fun of the way I speak. I speak amazingly, thank you very much. Even if it's slowly getting more and more nasally. All right, we're going to do game caption number 1. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Gotta pull the game up real quick. We're gonna sneak this in there. I know how much time I left. Then I can stop the voice. Thank goodness. Okay. We're gonna throw on the audio. Boop. I think that's good. And it's time. Are you ready, sweeties? Everybody ready? You ready to play this game with me? I'm gonna need answers. Chat, are you ready for this game? Are you ready to void and be on a train and train in the void? Good. Me too. Choo choo. Choo choo. Choo choo. God, man, did you know you can change my category for me? That's a secret. I'm not going to tell you to do that. Drop loot on death? Yes. Destroy loot on death? Yes. Starvation damage? Yes. Damage to train? 100% number of sharks. 1. Void fauna. Void health. Soldier. Da. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. No, I thought even mods could do that. Hey! Hey, congratulations, Star Blossom.
To resist it. Some people find enough courage to get on a train and head off into outer space.
Oh, it used to be a mod feature. Mods used to be able to do it.
So no. Wrong again.
Congrats on winning. Congratulations on the sub. All right.
There it is, the forest. This train was passing through impenetrable dense forests. However, that was not a nameless journey, but a long way up here.
There we go, there we go.
Right into the heart of the endless snowy nowhere. A perfect place for those who prefer tranquility, silence, and minus 45
I'm super focused.
at the window. Meet the man who made off into this palace of silence.
Thank you for the bits, Lucy.
He'll be
Thank you, thank you,
here
thank you, thank you, thank you.
for many long and cold months until the next lucky guy strides in to replace him, if one comes through at all. Of course.
Bye, Addy.
But there's no need to feel sorry for him. Although the terrain is wild, there's plenty to see and do around here, especially if you're curious enough. Fortunately for
Thank you
my
for the head
story,
pets.
engineers are almost always inquisitive and attentive. These people notice things.
There's so
that
much
the
lore.
average person.
Aha, we're looking closely. Oh! Okay, what am I doing?
Everything would have been fine in this adventure if the blizzard had not started at the wrong time. The chilly wind blew the engineer off the trail, which he immediately lost sight of. His fingers instantly turned
I refuse to breathe.
like everything else.
Can't make me.
Best hope of salvation, a map of the terrain, treacherously slipped out of his hands. Luckily, the video's timing didn't allow the engineer to suffer for long. All of a sudden, in the middle of snowy nowhere, it appeared. A door to... Where to, by the way? The building didn't seem to be on the engineer's maps. Anybody home? This is how it all usually starts.
Okay. All good.
In that strange hut, there was nothing. No people. No
I was told to breathe, so I refused.
only darkness.
Nothing for the hydrate. And stretch. Ugh. Hydrate. I should make a more expensive redeem for the hydrate with a 20-pound cup, 25-pound cup. I'm breathing now. Don't you worry. I breathe. Controls. No. Oh, classic controls. Okay. So, okay, I want to talk to you all about something that I think is interesting. There's a video out there where a guy takes his girlfriend who has never played video games in her entire life and has her play video games without, like, telling her anything about games.
If I were you, I'd look for a key.
And
Something that looks like a key.
it's such a cool video because, like, she knows nothing about the games. She knows absolutely nothing about the games to the point, like, that she can't walk or jump or do anything. Like, no, but you've seen games before. She'd never seen any games. And it's funny, like, how many...
That's going to help.
1 second. It's funny how little, like, things we take for granted.
A heavy blunt object. Gotta
Yeah,
grab
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know WASD or shift in space. Well, that's... You'd be surprised. But video games are not played by a majority of people. I mean, nowadays, I think about, like, at least 50% of people have played a video game. But there's a lot of people who have never, ever touched a video game in their entire life. Oh, it was interesting. It was funny. It was interesting. It was cool.
There's nothing left to fix with a hammer. Any other ideas?
And I think what made it really cool was that, like, as far as I know, he didn't tell her how to do things. He just kind of, let her do it. And so seeing somebody, like, organically learn, because I mean, even me, when I started playing, somebody taught me how to do the basics. Actually, no, that's not true. The first game I ever played was a, like, little spaceship. She was good about it. Yeah, she's a good sport about it, I think. I haven't seen the full video. But, like, when I first played a game, yeah, I will definitely watch it. I think we might watch it on stream sometime. But yeah, when I first played video games, I was just kind of as a child thrown in front of a game, and I broke part of the computer. I don't know exactly what I did, but I remember that part of the computer didn't work anymore after I was done with it. And I kind of picked up games over time.
There is too much snow outside.
Okay, we're missing something here. Can I just repair it? Oh, I can just repair it. Okay. I just put tape on it? Why is this working? What do we do? And I was like less than 5. I was like 3 years old with my first computer game. Thank you for the biddies, princess. Thank you, thank you.
And so, my glorious hero, having passed all the hardships of his watch, finally obtains a light in order to notice something strange on the table?
Yeah, what is this? Thank you, princess. Thank you, thank you. I blew up my sister's computer once trying to download a game. What do you mean blew it up? Bye, Vanya. There were sparks. How does that even... That's insane. The closest I've ever gotten was... Thank you for the biddies, princess. What the heck? I appreciate it, princess. The thing that I did was I had 2 computers facing back to back and didn't think about it. And they looked nice, you know, back to back. Did you know that computers produce a lot of heat? And if you put 2 where the air comes in, all it does is either one gets all the heat or they just eject heat into the other one and it just builds a heat vacuum until eventually something dies. Princess, what the heck? Thank you, princess. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
A typical day on Wall
Stop trying to win. But yeah, I fried 2 computers. Because one actually started smoking due to it overheating. I believe in you, princess. You got this. What are these?
Well, this might come in handy.
You love gambling? You love gambling. Okay, moving in the void. There's no gravity in the void. Jump off the train. Huh. Wait, yeah? I can just jump off. Oh, that's kind of fun. I actually really like this. Yeah. Princess, I don't think you're gonna win today. I mean, maybe eventually. Remember, it's a high difficulty one to win. Ooh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, I'm not in the sky, I'm in the void. I'll open the diary. We've done it, we've done it, we've done it.
Of course, such an inventive mind.
Gambling just lets you gamble.
Figuring out the mechanism of
If you don't have sub, it will, you can get a sub, and if you do win, a sub will be gifted to the community, usually. Wait. I mean, I am tall, but I'm not that tall. I'm not in the sky. All right, we got this.
well, pretty much. Try pulling the other lever.
And now we're gonna pull this one. Oh, now we're going backwards.
All right now, just slowly. That's a useful book you've picked up. Is the author some kind of scientist?
Ooh. Ooh.
He's not too upset that we stole his train. That was awkward.
Wait. This is so goofy. Am I just like in the void? I'm using a trolley in the void. Really? Well, I'm glad my voice itches your brain. So goofy. Aha! Break! I want whatever that is. Yay. Oh yeah, by the way, exclamation point Discord to join the Discord. I don't remember what the thing is for the DS Verify. But it is 100 bits to gamble. Or a sub. Alright, back we go. Wait, okay, wait. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you, princess. Come on. So it's like a true transmission of like if I do this. Oh no, it goes the other direction. Okay. I got this. Collect things. Oh. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, I got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the biddies again. Goofy. Can I get off of this while we move? What if I do this? Oh, it's exploding. Okay, maybe I don't want that. Got it. Ooh. Yes. You're in too deep? You don't get anything for winning. Why are you trying to win? Oh, I guess we gotta eat things. Okay. Let's figure out how to eat things. Okay, what is this? We have... This is chemical, scrap metal, wood. You had a bad day, you want to win? Well, you know, fair enough. You're a winner in my heart, all right? Would I fly or die? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a little worrying. Come on. Hi, Aiko. How you doing? I haven't gotten to listen to that thing yet, by the way. The lore thing that you sent me. Yeah. But how's the Voidling art coming? I'm excited to show people. Uh-oh. 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 I'm getting left behind. Come back! I think I made a mistake. There we go. Yeah. It's coming along nice. I'm glad to hear. Glad to hear. I'll build a research table. Okay. Let's build a research table. Can I rotate it? There we go. Okay. We'll put you there. What the heck is that? I think I put it backwards. Can I undo? Well, I guess he gets to look in. I'm sure he's happy. This is Voidtrain. I don't know what it is exactly, but it seems interesting. Thank you for the biddies, princess. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just keep swimming. Exactly. We'll see if I can get into it. Sometimes I'm not big on these games because they get too like survival-y. Insufficient research points. Need more research points. Okay, what do I do to get research points? 2 more days. 2 more days for what? Yeah, what's 2 more days? Come on, Naptime, tell me about it. What's 2 more days? 2 months? Oh, sick! I hope I enjoy as well. We'll see, we'll see. It's a bit slow to start here, and right now they've given me research Smelter 1 technology, but they haven't told me how to get any points, so I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, add points? By burning materials, I guess? Okay. Why? Wait, why is the music getting dramatic? I'm going back. All right, because what I need more leather. I'm gonna at least build this thing before we head out. The arrow has up. Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay. I do like that I can just leave it behind, though. Thank you for checking in. Welcome, 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 Crucified. How you doing, Cruci? There we go. Okay, how do I make iron? What are we doing? Yo, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this game right now. You know what? I think I'm going to have to play something different. It looks fun. It does seem fun. But it is taking way too much reading and understanding and figuring things out. Yeah. I want to like it. I want to like it. And I'm sure it's fun if you get into it and you're in the vibe for it. But nope, I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. Rather something like Subnautica, you know, where it is... See, that's the thing. I don't like games... I sound evil in a good way. I'm not a big fan of games where they kind of like want you to go through a checklist of stuff. You want to see the cage again? Oh, too bad. No. I'm not a big fan of games where they just make you go through a checklist. And I'm just like trying to check things off of a list. And since there wasn't really much exploration there, I mean, I'm sure you would have seen some cool things. I just felt like I was kind of missing out on something. What is this song? Okay, no, we're going to do this. There we go. You want a checklist? Well, okay, you can play the game. I believe in you. Oh, okay. Have a good one, princess. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You behave yourself, okay? Yeah, that one kind of took it out of me. But I'm sure there's other games we can play. Other things are going to be a little bit more engaging. I need games to be perfect. I need games to tickle my fancy right from the beginning. Give me just enough stuff that it's satisfying. I need more crime scene cleaner. I need more crime scene cleaner, but the game is over. The game is over. We beat the game, and I'm so upset that we beat the game. They could have made 100 more levels. They could have made the same level 30,000 more times. Just, they're not perfect, but they satisfy me perfectly. It doesn't, no, I can't replay it. Does not work how my brain works. That is exclusively, like, I cannot, Oh, this game's free. Sure, I just got a free game. And that's just, like, so frustrating. It's like, because, like, I want to clean more rooms. And if they had made 100 levels like the apartment level and just done, like, 20 more of them, it would have been great. It gave me just enough, like, satisfaction in the cleaning aspects. They gave me a plot that made sense to me. They gave me a goal that felt good, not just cleaning. Because the Power Wash Simulator game we've already talked about is too clean. I need crime scene cleaning. Killing spiders. I'll pass, but thank you. Me trying to wait long enough to play Baldur's Gate 3 because if I do it now, I'll make the same choices because that's the right way to do it. Do you want to do water park thing? I mean, we could do. Viscera cleanup detail. Is that the other one? Well, okay, so what's the point of Viscera cleanup detail? Is there a plot or is it just cleaning? Yeah, Cult of the Lamb might be the way to go. Cult of the Lamb? I don't really want to play Cult of the Lamb, though. Yeah, see, I don't like just cleaning. I need it to have plot. I'm just not feeling games today. Is that what it is? It's just not hitting right. Maybe we just hang out, okay? Tell me your favorite color right now. Everybody, I need to know your favorite color this second. You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crime scene evidence cleaner? I'll have to see. Good color choices. I did not see a game called Crime Scene Evidence Cleaner. A JRPG? See, I just can't get into JRPGs either. Just nothing hits. Have a good show? I'll have an amazing show, Zesty. Thank you. Oh, I have a good show. You have a good show? What's the show? I wanted people to tell me their favorite colors, and they did, and I'm proud of you. Murder drones. I'll become a game developer, someone make a cleaning game full of plot. Just take Crime Scene Cleaner and add me some more crime to it, okay? Add me more crimes to clean up.
Easy, my color is your soul, Gene.
Your color's like my soul? What color's my soul? My soul is perfect, clean, and white, right? Black? What do you mean my soul is black? I have a lovely soul. It is clean and nice and great. Mean. So mean to me. Escape from Duckov. Still Life, Criminal Attraction, Uncover Smoking Gun. Nobody's Murder Cleaner is a puzzle filled. Oh, it's a puzzle game. I don't want a puzzle game. I want no thought. With a white with a brown streak. Ooh, I'm excited, Aiko. I'm excited. As soon as we get that, I might do a little hinty on the TikTok. There's got to be something that satisfies all my needs in a game. Not that, no. See, I like horror a lot of times because horror is fantastic. Like it's simple. You start at the start, you go forward, you run from horror, you end. I have played Unpacking, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't really the right vibe either. I enjoyed it. Black like the void?
No pitch black, or black like the void, Gene.
A void can also be a white. You can have a white void. An empty, clear white void. A void's just nothing. Who knows what the color void is? It's just nothing. Silk Song? Nah. I need something that's, like, unique. It's okay, chat. You're not going to find a perfect game for me. I'm going to keep grabbing random games, trying them, enjoying them, and then when we get a really good one, we stick for it for a while. Horror's too scary. I mean, I like horror, but like I'm also not wanting to play horror right now. I just need something that hits right. Harspace Shipbreaker was pretty solid. It let me kind of talk to people, and we ran around and we did stuff. King by Corrine Canaria. Cult of the Lamb. We have done Cult of the Lamb, but we've done so much Cult of the Lamb. Done so much Cult of the Lamb. I need something that I can just clock out brain-wise and relax and chat and have fun. Stardew. I like Stardew. Stardew's okay. What, another streamer was playing Karma and it didn't hit the same? Oh. It was a good game. I mean, we beat it. That was a fun one. Like, that's a game. If we could get a game like Karma, that'd be great. Do you want to play Minecraft? I guess I play some hardcore Minecraft. We could do some hardcore Minecraft, I guess. It is a good, I mean, it's kind of standard. Did you finish Dispatch? No, but I'm just not feeling Dispatch right now. It was too mentally engaging. You know what? Okay. Minecraft. We'll do some Minecraft. Just gonna vibe out, play some more hardcore, build up, chat with people, hang out. I'm sorry I'm so picky. Oh, we could do Cloverpit. We didn't beat Cloverpit yet. And Cloverpit was fun, wasn't it? Yeah, Cloverpit had a lot of conversation ability. Yes, Cloverpit. Cloverpit. Cloverpit is a little slots game. You fell asleep to you playing Minecraft this morning? That's fair. I feel like we're actually doing good in Minecraft this time, though. I'm spoiled for choice. Okay, you know what? Chat. Y'all are picking. First person to pick one of the games for me gets to choose it. Do we want to do Minecraft or do we want to do Cloverpit? Because I want to do both of them equally almost. Minecraft? Okay, we're doing Minecraft. Thank you, Blitzo! Hello, Blitzo. Minecraft. We'll play some music in the background. We'll play some Minecraft. We got this. We got this. We got this. Absolutely. He equally hates options. I know. I'm so... Well, you haven't seen... Okay, no, we'll do Cloverpit. You haven't seen Cloverpit? We're going to play Cloverpit. We got to play Cloverpit. We're going to keep swapping games. Wait, we hit a sub goal? We hit a sub goal? Hey! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who was last sub? Oh, we had a follower goal. What do you mean we're at 2,900? We were just at 2,800 yesterday. Are you telling me that we got 100 followers in like 2 days? I swear it was just yesterday or the day before. Where are you all coming from? I kind of actually want to do Minecraft, but because Jinx has not seen Cloverpit yet, and a lot of you haven't seen it yet, it is a fun game. So it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. It's a good game. I really dig it. Let's check it out. Wait. There you go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? It's not just gambling. It's gambling with strategy. You got to figure out the perfect strategy for your gambles. And I unfortunately don't know any strategy. Let's go! All right, we're gonna continue the run. I don't know what we were doing last time, but I'm just gonna keep hitting buttons. Oh, we died. That's what we did. We did it. Yay, we did it. Woo! Okay. All right, so the goal is... I forgot this game has music, doesn't it? Oh, not really. Here we go. Okay. Gonna draw you as... So the goal is we need to hit this money of value. The more we deposit, the more we get back. We have this stuff. We have this stuff. Oh, and I forgot. We can use a poll in-game, in stream, for y'all to vote on things. This is automatically built into the game. So, you ready, chat? You want to vote on my first item? We have 13 coins. Y'all can pick the first one. Let's go. There's a poll at the top. Click on it. You can vote. You get in on this. Is game too loud, by the way? Or is game a good volume? Make sure to click on the poll and vote for it. I believe in you. You got this. Can't find perfect. Thank you, nap time. Lucky cat it is. Alright, whenever 3+ patterns trigger during a spin, you earn money equal to your current interest. Ooh. Okay, I'm also gonna grab this. 1 extra spin. Luck +4 for that spin. We're gonna risk it. We're gonna go hard on this risk, okay? There we go.
Let's go.
No, we're doing bad. We're doing bad already. Yay, lucky coin! Woo! Hey! We're doing amazing. Do we just get, is that keep giving us more spins, or is that the one that... And so the way this game works is you have, I think, 3 rounds, okay? And so I'm gonna put as much money as I possibly can into this every time, because the lucky cat that y'all chose earn money equal to your current interest. So if I keep putting stuff in here, there we go, then we have a higher chance of winning stuff. It's not much, but it's a chance. It's a chance. And y'all would never steer me the wrong way, right? Y'all chose the perfect thing for me, so it would go right every time. See, look at that. Inuyasha. There it goes. Oh, is that what we needed? I'm vibrating a lot for some reason. 1 second. Why am I vibrating? This is just gambling. All right, everybody, take a guess. Guess why I'm vibrating so much. Yeah, take a guess. Why am I vibrating so much? Is it because A, my work is trying to contact me? B, Twitch wants to tell me that all my friends are going live right now and that I need to go watch them instead of stream. B, I keep getting recommended random people on Facebook. C, I lost the plot. I'm a cat? That's why I'm vibrating. Actually, it was all of the above. It was a trick question. I'm still vibrating. Stop it. I don't want to vibrate. Hey, chat. I threw my phone across the room, by the way. Hopefully it's fine. Can I tell you something? And you promise not to hate me? Can I tell you something? You promise not to hate me? I am so freaking bored right now. We're playing Minecraft. I mean, it's a cool game, and I like playing the game, and all of you here make this game a lot better, and that's why I'm, like, really excited, and I'm still happy, and I'm in a good mood, because all of you are so freaking cool and amazing, and I love having you here. But, like, I don't know, it's just not scratching anything. In Minecraft, I at least know what to expect. You know, I'm gonna build something. Worst case scenario, I run around in a circle, and I look like an idiot, you know? Let's go. There we go. It was a starting world.
It would be fun if you let everyone join you on Minecraft so we can hunt you down and kill you or help you.
I will one day run a Minecraft world. I promise one day I'll run a Minecraft world. It's gonna be like long from now. I refuse to play. Try to play the survival one. Oh, or definitely hardcore. So bounce to, well, yeah, no. If I hit partner, like, no, okay. One of the many things, so we're going to do a fundraiser, right? We're going to be doing a fundraiser for my Model 2.0, which, by the way, I'm going to be paying for the first installment soon. So it's going to be happening soonish. We're going to have that first model payment coming up soonish. So anyways, we're going to be doing... I'll be paying the first installment. Wow, I have not said a single word yet. I've said the same words repeatedly in different fashions. First installment of the artist. We'll be doing the art. We'll be getting back a sketch of the potential new model. And then they'll be doing the art and stuff for it. Which, now that Ico just mentioned that they might have a rework... Now that they mentioned that they might have a rework of my model, Ico did. Give me a second real quick. Then I might need to be worried, actually, genuinely. Where are we? Okay. But yes, so honestly though, at least the first price is not going to be too bad. I can throw that up on a credit card. And once we kind of progress, can I steal your hair clip? No, it keeps my hair out of my face. You don't want me to have like emo fringe bangs, do you? That'd be awful. But once we get that first model, we get that first payment out, we get that first sketch going, then yeah, it's going to be sick. I'm super excited. By the way, is game too quiet? Do we need to turn it up? You don't want emo Gene, okay? I'm excited. I'm excited, though, for the new model. Because the new model, you know what the new model means? The new model means we can have merch with the model on it. The new model means that I can open up audio commissions through one of the things, the websites. So you can come and you can reach out and you can commission me to do any audio for you. You vote to give me your hair no, you don't get a vote. Ooh, that's actually kind of sick. I don't get a vote? No, you can't steal my earrings. Mech? No, stop. What do you, why? y'all don't get a vote on. Oh, okay. Merch. Yes. Merch is gonna be so sick. I'm so excited. When we do eventually, get it going. And yeah, so that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. And once we get the 2D, then I'm gonna look to commission the 3D. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. Ooh, 4 cards. Okay, you ready for this, Poison? So first off, I need to have like the Jack of Hearts. I love the Jack of Hearts. Solid card. Or the King of Hearts. Maybe do King of Hearts. Okay, next. I want an Uno reverse card. So I'd like an Uno reverse. I want just the instruction card from like a deck of cards. And then, and then I want, what's it called? The Fool from Tarot, but it has somebody's phone number written on it, and it's all wrinkled. Yeah, Gibbet's new. My wallet is a hoe for merch. Maybe I'll make a chat wallet merch. We're gonna make a wallet merch. Okay, if you have any merch with either like a logo themed Gene thing with Gene itself on it, what would you want? Like any merch at all, chat. Any merch. Hoodies? Okay, we're definitely doing hoodies. Everybody wants hoodies, and then you can joke about stealing my hoodie, obviously. Pins? Pins are sick. Made Gene shirt. Allie, I might work with you on that. Pins are cool. Messenger bags, pins and bags. Okay. You know what's gonna be funny? I'm gonna get merch, and then I'm gonna get all the samples, and then I'm just gonna walk around with my own merch, but I can't tell people I'm Gene. So it's gonna be like, who's this VTuber that you always wear? Don't worry about it. Double as a normal person, sure. Oh yeah, no, 100%. I want to do some like very like normal looking stuff, not just like hot anime boy stuff. Hair clips. I don't know if I can do hair clips. And obviously, we're going to get the Voidlings as a plush, but that's gonna be like a while down the road. And y'all know what the Voidlings look like, right? Like what you all look like. You've seen the representation. No? No, most of you have, right? Fine. We'll do one last preview. One last preview before we get the official, okay? Here, give me a second. That's the hand. Let's not show off the hand. This is the last time I'm showing off this preview before we get the official one. Alrighty? Steady? Ta-da! There's two versions. The Voidlings, the Voidlings, the Voidlings. This is you all. And they evolve and they grow and eventually become humanoid. But they're very cool. They're very cool. Mm-hmm. A style guide is coming out very soon. So that you all will be able to draw yourselves. You all will be able to draw personas. And then after the style guide gets out, eventually, during the fundraiser, we're going to look to see into getting funding for plushes and everything. Mm-hmm. And Ico, you've seen them. VO Ico designed all of that. It has been crazy. And the thing is, the goal of like the Voidlings there is that they're simple enough that you can draw like 3 features and you will have one. You can draw them easy. Anybody can sketch a little circle, big eyes, big hat. That's it. Circle, big eyes, big hat. So simple to make. You hate spoiled tofu. Oof, how long have you had it? Oh, do I have spoiled tofu? I might have spoiled tofu in my fridge. Why am I getting hurt? How small are the Voidlings? Voidlings would be around like, so they start off at around like knee height, maybe? Like maybe not even knee height, but they're pretty small. As the Voidlings are going to, progress, they may grow a bit. But once they hit around so they're based off the suite of cards. There's a heart, diamond, spade, and club. Once they hit, actually are small enough to punt. Once they hit a certain level, I will be able to, they'll be able to turn more humanoid and become more intelligent. And they do become the size of normal humans eventually. Yes. And they will be so cool. Oof. Gold can't get iron. What is the point of a gold pickaxe? Except being dumb. Oh yeah, and by the way, they do have like animal theme. Like when they start off, you saw the base Voidling, but there are ones that have dog ears, that have cat ears, that have whatever ears. And so you can kind of make them whatever animal you want. And that's why it's the menagerie, because it's a collection of different animals and little things. They're going to be so cute and amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's work with them. I'm going to actually look into commissioning some artists to draw Voidling versions of like some bigger VTubers. But if y'all draw your own, you save them up, you send them to me, we can do a big launch, everybody can post all their stuff, and we can get everybody excited about the Voidlings, Show them off to the whole world how gorgeous and cute y'all are. I will be commissioning some artists. But again, that is if fundraising goes well. Because, doing all this is going to eventually be a little expensive. voodoo doll? Oh, I haven't even told you that part, have I? So, voidlings have a core. Voidlings are made out of the void. A void that I'm not telling you what the void is yet, but you'll find out what the void is eventually. That is part of the lore as well. But the voidlings, to survive, need to have a core. When Gene produces a voidling, he makes something that he can use as the center of the voidling. What he's doing currently is stitching up dolls, and he thinks about his memories and what he wants to accomplish, and those feelings and those memories go into the doll, putting some of himself into each one of them, creating value to them. He has to attach them to something valuable. Mm-hmm. And it comes to a point where, like, the thing is, though, if a voidling dies with a lot of his memories, because he can bind money to them as well. You know, he can use physical value. He can patch like a journal or a picture or something to him. But if he binds his own like feelings and memories to them, they last a little bit longer and become a little bit stronger. And if that voidling dies or gets destroyed, it takes the memories with it. So yeah, there's a whole lot of little things about these voidlings. Another thing is, whenever a voidling passes, like if a voidling does get destroyed, it rejoins the void. And as they get stronger, they become a little bit more intelligent, and they start having of their own memories and thoughts. When they rejoin the void, there comes a point in time where they slowly lose their own identity. Gene can possibly save them, but if he takes too long, then they lose their identity. Oh, you're stuck in my basement in a cell. But that will be the difference between LuckyJene, the character, and LuckyJene, the creator. I, the creator, keep you locked in a cell. Actually, it would. Now, without spoiling too much story, because there's a lot of story that's going to be happening with these voidlings, and there's going to be a whole, like, I did respond, Vanya, thank you. There's going to be a whole lot of story. It's going to be like a whole novel's worth of stuff, so I don't want to spoil things too much. Certain strong memories can cause a voidling to... I don't want to spoil it. Can't spoil it. But strong enough memories will make something happen. That's all I'm going to tell you. Strong enough memories and stuff attached to them will make something happen. Oh, I will do audio logs. So one of the first plans to do is going to be doing audio logs as LuckyJene. He's going to be talking about like himself trying to become a villain. There's going to be so many little story bits that are going to be happening. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like an animation or anything, because honestly, they're a little bit overpriced, and they never really give you much of anything. I'll tell you this, we'll get you at the core of the story, okay? LuckyJene is in a world that's a little bit further along in history than ours. And in this world, something hit the planet. It exploded. And suddenly people started gaining powers. No? Oh, you can't eat the voidlings, no. Suddenly people started getting powers, and these powers come from people's perception of others. They're rooted in, I think it's 12 or 14 things. 7 of them being virtues, and 7 being sins. It might be more than that, it might be 12, we'll see. But they're cool. Will you put the voidling pics in Discord? I will 100% will, when the guide is done. But yes, people will end up getting powers based on perceptions. So, somebody who is seen as a joyful figure, like a famous comedian, might become the avatar of joy, basically. And all his powers would be based around joy. somebody might become the avatar of wrath because everybody sees him as a warmonger. And so his powers will be based around that. And their bodies will physically change based on people's perception. But you have other more simple, goofy powers. Like the anger that you get for being stuck in traffic. Somebody will become the avatar of that. And the powers are going to be at different levels and different strengths. And as people's perception in that person grows, so can their power. But just some basics there. Exactly. There's a whole system of how to describe powers. And voidlings themselves can also get powers as they progress. But we're not going to tell you how that could happen. And there you go. That's all I'm giving you. That's all I'm giving you. JS, I believe is what it is. All right. Now, of course, lore is subject to change. If ever I change my lore and you're unhappy with it, bite me. Mm-hmm. Oh, and another thing. So, there's villains and there's heroes. But just because you have a villain power does not mean you have to live as a villain. And so there will be stories about different characters in the world who were, born with villain powers or gained villain powers, but try to be heroes. And vice versa. And even if the story goes well enough, I might invite other VTubers to partake in this universe. That's going to be way further down the line. Oh, I had this written way before I ever met Dispatch. That's a common trope, though. A common trope is a villain, acting as a hero and a hero acting as a villain. A pretty common trope. It's gonna so random things. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just like talking. And one side story that I'm going to be writing is definitely about a villain who wants to be a cop. And having to deal with the prejudices that people have about him because they see him as only something dangerous. But he has to constantly fight against instinct to, be a better person. I'm having fun talking to you all. And that's why I like Minecraft. I can just talk to you. I don't need to think. There's no plans. I can just break stuff, and technically I'm still doing something worthwhile. Neeks, that's adorable. I appreciate that. I know someone, this person has become very dear to me. They cherish me and dreams my feelings. That's good. Oh, enjoy your makeup. That person is Neeks. I like that, Neeks. Oh, wait, I need to say that. Oh, I didn't realize that was redeem. Sorry, I got this. Fine. Why do you all want to psychotherapy me, huh? Okay. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, here we go. Chat, did you know? I know someone, and this person has become very dear to me. They cherish me in my dreams and feelings. They encourage me, make me happy. That person is me. It's also a lie, but I needed sand. That's why I'm here. I wanted sand. Hello, Punkish. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Dexy, hello, hello. I hope you enjoy your time here. Fine. Ugh. Why did I buy a 25-pound cup? Okay. Okay, I wanted sand because I haven't had sand in a while. Okay, plans. I want to make a auto bamboo farm and a seaweed farm at some point. So that's going to be my first goal here. Once I get a bamboo farm, I can start making cool stuff out of bamboo.
Good boy.
Shut up. Bye, cottage. Be good. Calling me good boy. Bye-bye, cottage. Have a good one. If I say it enough, I will believe it. Okay, I do say, though. Oh, you're totally fine. I do tell myself that I'm important, that I matter to me, and that I need to think about my own needs and blah 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 blah. The good boy scared you? Oh, do good boys scare you? Well, Chad, I'm the goodest boy. Bet. We'll split the cost. Oh, please tell me. Wait. Have you all taken your meds today? Have you eaten? Y'all better be eating. Who hasn't taken their meds? Who hasn't eaten? Who hasn't drank water? Okay, go take your meds if you need to. Behave yourselves. Be good. Thank you for the follow, Snowy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You haven't brought up Bricken? Bricken. Has anybody made Bricken, by the way? We talked about Bricken earlier or yesterday, and I did make the TikTok about Bricken. Did anybody actually make Bricken? I am curious. I'll give you 10 good boy points, even though they don't add up to anything and you can't use them for anything. Did you actually, Zesty? All right, you know what? New plan for the beginning of every stream, okay? You're afraid of Bricken? Bricken is so good! It was good. I love this if you don't know what Bricken is. So, Bricken, made by Sklimbo, aka VTuber Male. Go follow them on Twitter. They recently had their... I love their lore. Oh no, we're going to talk about Sklimbo real quick. So Sklimbo is a new VTuber of the Sock Agency. And they were first being like, I'm a VTuber Male, like a generic VTuber guy. Apparently they do like bodybuilding and stuff, which is kind of interesting. I tried to redeem something, but it broke. Oh, I'm sorry. I see the Southern. Give me a second. I got you, sweetie. Anyway, so, Sklimbo being the generic VTuber Male, he has a lore video, and I love it, because the lore video is like, whenever a boy VTuber gets his start, they send him to the factory, and they train him in a certain department, either like E-Boy, ASMR, or whatever. But sometimes you get a man who doesn't want to be like all the other men. And you get a Sklimbo who chooses not to go to the VTuber school for men. And that's what Sklimbo is. He's just a guy. And his model is so cursed and junky and amazing. Yeah, he looks like a meme. Absolutely fantastic. Can I call you? That's so stupid. Cute pickup line, though. But yeah, so he made Bricken because, you know, he does bodybuilding. He's like, most bodybuilders do gross stuff like boiled chicken and rice. He says, what I do is Bricken. And he takes a ground chicken. I cannot find my home. Where did I put that thing? He takes a block of ground chicken, sets the oven to 350, throws it in there for 30 minutes, and it's done. Or hear me out, you can put spices on it. And I did mine with spices, and it was surprisingly really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Why are you doing an accent? Because it was redeemed. Honeybee, you've been here before. It gets redeemed. Mm-hmm. I just got Rice Krispie treats. Good. I love Rice Krispie treats. So very good. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh, you good. Be a man, don't be a woman. Be a man, men don't cry. Don't be a pussycat or a Discord. I have no clue what you're saying, Hada. Good luck to you, though, buddy. We doing pickup lines now? Not that I was planning on it. We were talking about Bricken, yeah. We've all talked about Bricken. I don't know what Bricken is now. The Rice Krispie treat was chucked at me. Is it tasty, though? Is it worth it? Bricken. A brick of chicken. It's good, though. It's good. It's good. Trust me, it's good. That's all I feed the Voidlands now. Nope, y'all eating Bricken. Actually, it's funny. Me and one of these people in my comments were talking about making a vegan Bricken. And you just do it with tofu instead. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think that's a good way to do it. I mean, you do like a marinade first to get the flavor in it.
Gene, let me take a picture of you so I can show Santa what I want for Christmas.
All right. Is that a good picture? Did I pose for it properly? Unfortunately, I will eat Santa Claus. It's a lifetime goal of mine, so, yeah, you ain't getting me. Don't bonk me. Ah, well, you should go do it, Kira. I believe in you. And back to normal. I wish I could still eat banana bread. You can't eat bananas? Are you allergic to bananas? Grandma got run over by a reindeer. I'd rather take ground chicken, add rice, some cream and mushroom. I mean, at that point, you're just making a meal, though. The point of breaking is that it takes no effort. You just kind of shove that thing into the oven and you're good to go. Oh, yeah, I found a town. All right. You're now allergic to bananas? Oof. How does that happen?
You can have him chat, but remember, there is no return policy. Don't blame me when your things are lost in a gamble.
Don't blame him when your things are just lost. I lose everything. Do I not own sheet pans? Oh, no, I own sheet pans. I didn't want to wash any sheet pans. And plus, I felt like using a store-bought, like, disposable sheet pan for break-in was just so much more poetic. You only like croissants? They're not... You need to eat more food than just croissants. Potassium. Legally, I'm obligated to make you eat more than croissants. Yeah, I cannot be bought. I'm sorry, I am priceless. They forgot to put a price tag on me. Somebody got me for free. It's kind of upsetting, honestly. Because break-in is the best. Break-in is the best. Break-in. Get your now. Sorry. A croissant? A croissant, right? Let me just get one good croissant, please. Oh, what are you doing here? Why are these two horses fighting? What's going on here? Oh, they got poisoned. Crassy-ant. Yeah, Crassy-ant. I got you. Crassy-ants. Take a cookie. Good. Cookies are delicious. Cookies are amazing. I'm glad y'all like hanging out with me because we've done nothing in Minecraft so far, by the way.
It's croissant.
Why can he pronounce it so well? What was that? It was too good. That was insane. They don't have stuff for me to steal anymore. Croissant. I already robbed you. Why is there not more people to rob here?
Croissant.
They all pronounce it better than I do. I'm a little upset. Only a little, though. It's okay, chat. Escape Minecraft win soon, actually. Me and Hoshi. So if you don't know Hoshi Breeze, go check them out. Fantastic VTuber as well. I know a lot of cool people. Just letting you know that. And they were like, "Hey, do you want to do some horror Minecraft mod?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it." So it might be coming. Hoshi's sick. I'm so lost. I lost my home. You want to laugh? Okay. Crescent. Cryo. Sunt. Cry. Oi! Sunt. I got you. I'm inherently cool. That's right. I inherited all my cool. Oh. My granddad gave me my cool. Hamburger. Why are we saying hamburger? I want to buy a hamburger. I'd like to buy a hamburger. You're lame? Nah, not true. You're a mod of mine. You're my mod. Speaking of which, by the way, chat, we are opening up mod applications end of the week. We'll be opening up mod applications end of the week. We're going to be doing a trial period this time once we accept some mods. Which is just, you know, like a, hey, confirm that you're actually showing up to the streams, whatever kind of thing. I met a interesting VTuber recently. I can't really say who, but they're very, very cool. And they gave me a lot of suggestions on like what to do. And so one of the things they said to do was do mod applications and have a trial period. So we're going to be doing that. Goblin Cleanup. Oh, wait. There's also a vampire game coming out where you manage a hotel. That one looks fun. I might do the manage the hotel vampire game, and Goblin Cleanup might also be on my list. Can you write that down for me, Casey? And of course, access is 18 plus. DM me. You can DM me, it's fine. Go to bed. Go to bed. We're not even doing anything. I'm still trying to find my home base. Oh, Moon. Actually, we do need afternoon people. So if you are, like, exclusively afternoon... Oh, yeah, stream ideas. Stream ideas in the Discord. Okay, Cookie. You do not have to apologize. Please go to bed.
Why can't I bonk you? Cries.
You out of bonks? Bonks need to reload? Cooking stream will happen eventually. But again, that's going to be part of the fundraiser idea. That's really fine. Remember, though, it's a mod application, so y'all don't gotta tell me right now that you can't do it. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I promise you. I promise you, it is fine if you can't mod for me. There will be enough people who apply, and we'll have a whole process. Okay? It is a lot of work, and all you really get is my appreciation, so... If that is not something that you'd like to do, well, I apologize. Also, I hate these stupid pickaxes. We need more afternoon and weekend mods. It's a primary focus, yeah. I am amazing cook, thank you. I could make you butter chicken right now. Right now, Chad, I'll make you butter chicken. Except I won't, because I don't have the ingredients. Hey! Happy birthday to me, apparently. Woo-woo! Chat, everybody, we gotta sing happy birthday to me now. It's my... Oh, sorry. Also, ooh-woo. Thank you so much for the redeem. You ready? Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Jean. Happy birthday to me. Except it's not my birthday. There you go. Thank you. Thank y'all. A very merry unbirthday to you. Remember, you have one birthday every year, but you have 364 unbirthdays.
Happy birthday, Blue Jean. Happy birthday, Billy Jean. Happy birthday to Jeannie Jean.
I think the funniest one that you just did was the Billie Jean. Can you make us cage bars? I can make you cage bars. A very merry on birthday to you, a very merry on birthday to you. I sing all the time. Oh, what broke? Something broke. Oh, sweet. Apparently my computer was scanned and found no viruses. Pog. Chat, my computer has no viruses. My computer needed to tell me it has no viruses. And that thing I thought was a virus, not a virus. Good to know. I'm so glad it told me. You haven't... Wait. It's been mentioned. It's been mentioned. You know what that means? What we have to play, right? Hey, buddy, you're all about to hear my demo reel. Are you ready? You ready to hear my demo reel? Since it's been mentioned, it has to be played. It's been mentioned voice acting. I have had a demo reel made. I have only done a little voice acting so far. But here we go. I don't think I'm gonna make it. My legs hurt. Even my brain hurts.
Reversing the polarity will cause a cataclysmic reaction of... turn the dials right. Make device go boom!
I thought I'd left you dead in the desert.
I mean, haunted by ghosts, ain't I? I guess I deserve it.
Good evening, fellow Mad Cats. DJ Fang is ready to spin more records. Coming up next, 12 commercials back to back. My favorite.
You made it! I didn't think you'd come. No one else has. Still, you seriously made my day. We are not taking any more party members. Wait, are you wearing a dead possum as a scarf?
Nah, she ain't dead. She's just scared. The poor sweetie pie.
Please, take a seat. Right here, by my side.
Where you can't get away so easily.
I am Nerd. Hear me roar. I can't really roar that well, but I'm trying, okay?
Well, that's what the last guy thought. And you don't want to know what happened to him.
Do not be blinded by fear, my child. Embrace it. Welcome it. Let it pass. Remember, only you shall remain in the end.
So yeah, that is the voice acting demo reel. It was made by Jake the Voice Par. He edited it and written the script for it. Love it, love it. He's a fantastic voice actor himself. So if you're ever looking for a voice actor or somebody to help you make your own demo, feel free to reach out to him. There you go. I don't know how many people I did, but all of those were me. So yeah, I voiced all of those. Every single one of those voices was my voice.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Can I do the mouse house voice? Remember Simba? I don't know if I can do that voice specifically, but I can do I can be any voice that you want me to be. Anything that you need. I could be here all day. Like that. You're dramatized.
Oh, don't be traumatized. I could be whatever you need. But you want a little guy like this, I can do that too.
Can you do Rocket Raccoon? I don't know if I can do Rocket. I would have to actually hear Rocket's voice and do it long enough. You're scared of Mickey Mouse? Oh, no. Don't be scared of Mickey. He's a good guy. I mean, he's not the best guy, but really it's the corporation he works for that makes him bad. Kermit's always fun? He is. He is. You're gonna eat the mouse? Valid. Valid. Eat capitalism. He haunted your nightmares? That's tragic. I am so lost. I'm so lost, shit. No! Don't hit me. There we go. Okay. I give up on finding home. I don't think I'm going to find it. I'm finally giving up on finding home. I think we're just going to live in this town. This town's fine, right? D1 Mickey Mouse Division 1. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, all right. I got you. I can do the voice that you need. Mm-hmm. But y'all been absolutely fantastic today, by the way. I mean, it has been so interesting seeing y'all here. Just getting to talk and hang out and vibe with y'all. I know it ain't the way that all streamers do it, but I think just spending time with y'all makes us a lot better. I know we've done next to nothing, and I'm okay with that. Well, we're gonna let him be there. Ain't gonna worry about him too much. What's up? Let me go to bed. Hey man, you wanna go outside maybe? Nah, you ain't getting the maid dress that easy. You ain't getting the maid dress that easy. You can't just be like, yo, give me the maid dress. That ain't how this works. You gotta have something a little bit more, you know, tactical then. Can I do Aussie? Possibly. We got 2 minutes of this, though. I think Aussie's another one that I'd have to practice. Honestly, though, whenever I do British, eventually it slowly becomes Aussie. Because the Aussies just is such more fun to talk like. They're just a lot better. The voice is significantly more fun to do. All you need to do is accentuate certain words, and it's great. One of my favorites, actually. Where were we? All right, back in here. But the one I really like. Nope, that's not the voice I'm looking for. And here we are stuck at this one. All right, now I'm going to be here for a while. And I don't know how long I'm going to be stuck here. Because every time I'm thinking about another voice to do, I'll keep dropping back here. Can I try Irish? No, I cannot do Irish yet. On my list. One day we'll get there. Fine. Yeah, I'm waiting till Neeks gets paid, and then we're gonna do, I'm gonna activate blurps. Huh? What? No, I didn't say anything. Crazy. Who would say that? I said it'd be a year out? Did I say that? What? No. Who would do that to you? That's so mean. That's so mean of that person who said that. Who would ever say that to you? So cruel. So, oh, I remember what I'm doing. I'm making food. Pancakes the best food on earth? You're wrong. Oh, I'll do it yeah, we'll do it for your birthday then. I'll save it. We'll save it for your birthday. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Just for you, I will save it for that. I cannot do an Irish or Russian yet. You'll have to wait. I'm not big on doing accents. I do more characters than anything. So am I going to do it in July or not? You didn't tell... You cannot do the Russian. I cannot do Russian currently. Julieing to you? Uh-huh. I'm Julieing to you. You Miss Leo? Fine. Give me a second. There we are. Hello. What did you want from me, Pink? Why do you want this one? What do you want? You just got here. He just got here too. I'm here. I'm here to help you with whatever you're looking for. All right? There. Are you happy? Are you happy, Pink? Since you needed this voice so badly. Good. We can do this one for a little bit longer. And then we can also actually speak German when you want. Yeah? Why are you stressed, sweetie? I'm sorry to hear that. British is coming. I have to practice that one. Y'all need to be patient. Y'all need to be patient. We are currently doing characters. When they come out, they come out. Mm-hmm. And so far, the British one has been gambled for, but I do not have it practiced yet. I need to learn how to do the Sebastian from that anime, the one with the black butler. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, rubber rooms. The rubber room with the rats. The rats, they made me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room with rats. I don't know where that voice was going. The rats make me crazy. Fine, I will wait till July. That's insane. Don't spend that much money on me. Why would I sing Baby Shark? Do, Baby Shark. Do. I'm not a fan of this Baby Shark. Why is there a shark and a baby, and why are we talking about them so much? Santa Claus. Do not come to my town. I do not like this song. Santa Claus is coming to town. Do not come to my town. You are looking at children. I refuse. Why are you drinking so many monsters? Do not drink that many energy drinks. You all are so dumb. Do not drink so many energy drinks. One a day at most. You don't need more than that. Do I like Monster by I do like that song. It's a good one. Yeah, energy drinks is not going to make it better. It's going to increase the anxiety. And you don't want anxiety, do you? No. No, Pink, you can stay here. You can stay here, please, Pink. You're not dumb, but you're taking too many energy drinks. It's unhealthy for you. Ja, natürlich kann ich Deutsch sprechen. Was anderes sprach ich? Ich sprach nur Deutsch und alles ist gut. Aber ich will Japanisch lernen. Ich habe eine japanische Klasse. Nicht heute. Am Dienstag. Dienstagabend. Und hoffentlich geht es gut. Yeah, anxiety can always get worse. Anxiety can always get worse. It can get worse so easy. So easy. Give me, you're my horse now. I will be your horse. Horse me. Let me be your horse. Ah, we tamed him. Can I make a saddle? Is that an option? Wait a second. Saddle? Can you make saddles or can you only find them? Somebody tell me. What do I need to make some? What do I need to make? Wowza. What's wowza? Wait, can you craft saddles? I'm Googling it. Give me a second. Oh, okay. I guess yeah. Yeah. All right, we gotta go hunt down a cow. I ain't got a clue you're talking about, Clover.
Gene, what My Little Pony character would you be?
Pinkie Pie.
This goes for chat too. What characters would you be?
I mean, I don't know.
Starlight.
What do you mean? What is My Little Pony? I don't understand the question. I don't know who I don't have. That's a kid's show. I wouldn't. Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you'll have to ask somebody else who might know about like the kids' girl show that you're talking about. But I would totally not choose the party horse. When you like to party, we will always party hard. I don't know who Pinkie Pie is. Yo, you fight that fight. Fighting that's alright, just we. And things are feeling alright. And everything is alright. We will never do your rules. Be my horsey. You shall be my horse. I shall tame you. Oh, it hurt. Oh, he's exactly my type, really? Well, tell her. She's a dork. We must tame this horse. We will succeed. And I will defeat this horse. Be my horse. Aiming a head up, thank you. Once we tame this horse, come on, let me tame you. Yay. All I gotta do is ride it long enough. Woo! Woo! Sorry. Did y'all know about the old horse glitch? The old horse glitch was that if you would give a horse a speed potion, you made it breed, the speed would cross over to the other horses, and you could infinitely, like, increase the speed of the horses. I want to put makeup on you? Yeah, that's vibes. I don't know if you can still do it, but it used to be a thing. Yeah. Every time you put a speed potion on it, you'd breed the horses. The speed would move on to the next horse as its default speed stat. And you could, like, keep doing that. You could keep breeding new horses with the faster horses until, like, they're just, like, sprinting across the world. All right, now that we have a horse, maybe I can find my base. Horse, don't drown. I believe in you. Don't drown. I said don't drown! Bro. One job.
Chat somewhere, deep in the Disockered server, there is the Pony Sona Gene, specifically told he wanted to be join the Discord guys. BW Gene, you can't escape.
Prove it. You can't prove it. It's not real. I'm going to delete it right now. All right, lovelies. So, well, we're coming up to the end of stream here, lovelies. It has been a great time. I've had a lovely, lovely stream with all of you, and you all have been just so freaking amazing. I've enjoyed hanging out with you all. Yes, 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 yes. So, it's on your files. No! So, we're going to sit here. We're going to talk a little bit, hang out while I try to find somebody to raid out to, okay? Now, let's see who we can raid in. How many people are here right now? How many people are here right now? Give me numbers. Give me numbers, chat. That's just titties. 68? 68's a solid number. 68's a very solid number. All right. Let's see. ASMR is kind of lame. This person is collabing. I don't like rating collabs. TW Jet. What do they sound like? Yeah. We're gonna raid into TW Jet. Who's Sushi? Who the heck is Sushi? But yes. I've had a lovely, lovely stream. Y'all have been so very, very amazing. I appreciate all of you being here. And you know what? I'm looking forward to the next stream with y'all. It's gonna be a lot. Wait, who's this? Mewy Bunny? They seem cool. We're gonna check this person out. New person. I've never seen this person. It's Sushi. Wait, she's cute. Fine. We'll go check out Sushi. We'll check out Sushi real quick, okay? Is this like a movie? What the heck are they doing? They're watching a movie or something. I don't want to interrupt the thing. All right, we're gonna raid this person. Y'all be good. Y'all be amazing. Y'all say hi for me. We're gonna do a nice little lucky raid. You've all been absolutely fantastic. I appreciate you all. We're gonna do a lucky raid. Don't forget to hydrate. Don't forget to drink your waters. Don't forget to be amazing, as I know you are. Copy the raid message. You ready? You ready? You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye, lovelies. Mwah.